Every day, 45,000 cars travel between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Today, I'm aiming to be the 45,001st car. We're going to take a little road trip. Come with me as we find the oddest places along the route between the two cities. Okay, here's the thing. I may have told a lie at the beginning of this video saying I was going to start this trip in LA. I'm kind of starting this trip in LA. I'm actually starting it in Valencia, and the reason I'm telling you this is going to be relevant in just a minute. But for now, let's get ourselves on the highway and start driving towards Vegas. Now that we're well on the way to Las Vegas, the reason that me leaving from Valencia is relevant is that if you're leaving from Los Angeles proper, from the city itself, your route may be slightly different. Therefore, you may not be on Highway 14, which basically takes you through Palmdale, Lancaster. And that means you might miss the first stop, which is Charlie Brown Farms. So, let's go get some candy.
Shows how you make hand shatters. That's funny.
Well, if diabetes was a store, this would definitely be it. Alright. Came to Charlie Brown's. Got candy acquired for the rest of the trip. They've got about 3.5 hours left. We'll see how it goes. Charlie Brown haul has been completed. The purchase was very simple, in fact. Roasted corn nuts and yogurt pretzels. A true snack run indeed. Now we're gonna hit the road and hit the next interesting stop, or at least I think it's the next interesting stop. So for anyone who's driven from LA to Vegas, you've probably heard of Peggy Sue. That's probably because she's got about 15 billboards along Interstate 15. Some of them are very aggressive, like "Get in here." And I've got to be honest with you, I've done this road trip for years now. I've done it many times, and I've never stopped at Peggy Sue's. Today, I'm stopping at Peggy Sue's, and I'm going to see what this place is all about.
Los Domingos cool? Alright, Los Domingos, sir, we will see you there. It's definitely full, sir.
Alright, you guys, it was at this minute I realized that this scene wasn't going to be quite as I expected, at least from the filming perspective. So when I walked into this place, basically, there was a huge group of people in there. And when I say a huge group of people, I mean like people everywhere. I could barely move. Everyone was waiting. They gave you one of those little receiver things that buzzes when your table is ready. So we've been instructed to wait. We've got our little badge thing. Sensory overload here. And at that point in time, I was like, okay, I can wait. It was about 30 minutes for the table. And then after that, I was actually seated at the counter, which was like, they wouldn't give me a table because it was just a party of 2, and they wanted to seat parties of 4 at the table. So I realized, okay, I'm not going to be able to film this like without making people around me feel uncomfortable. So I decided to just get a few clips.
Gentlemen, can I get you guys something to drink?
Can I get a Diet Coke?
Yeah.
Thank you. And then move on to the next thing. Food was good though. Behind me at Peggy Sue's, you can see like dinosaurs. I don't know why there's dinosaurs here, but there are dinosaurs. And to me, nothing says 1950s nostalgia like dinosaurs. Stegosaurus and Triceratops. I mean, if you like that, you can get it here. Well guys, it was my intention to take you to Zzyzx Rd, the weirdly spelt road that looks like a cat was typing on the keyboard when they decided to make the road sign. But, as you can see, the road is closed. Upon further analysis, I've determined that the reason this is the case is because there's currently a government shutdown when I'm making this video. And therefore, that leads me to some questions. Why is the government controlling this area, and what are they keeping from us down in that dry lake bed? I'm just kidding. It's actually a research center for a local university. It used to be some sort of weird cult oasis with palm trees down at the bottom, but unfortunately it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to show you that today. So, with that in mind, we now head to our next stop, Baker, California. Let's go. I gotta say, that was a little bit of a fail, but I hope you enjoy these drone shots because that's really all I could get. And since we couldn't go down there, I might as well describe it to you. It's a long road, takes you about 20 minutes to get down there, and there's like a few buildings with almost looks like a watering hole and some palm trees around it. So it's a pretty interesting thing to see in the middle of the desert, but maybe next time. There's Baker up ahead. And if you look closely, you can actually see our next stop right in the middle of the screen. There it is, you guys. The site of our next destination.
In 700 feet, turn left onto.
Well, guys, we're in Baker, California at one of our last stops. It's the giant thermometer. It's 87 degrees out here today, which is actually kind of cool for this part of the country. They say it's the biggest thermometer in the world. I don't know if that's true, but it certainly looks big enough to take the Earth's fever. Let's go to Vegas. everybody, thanks so much for watching me on this journey from LA to Las Vegas. It's actually been very interesting. It's been very long. The ride itself is usually 4 hours if you don't stop. I think it's been like 8 hours at this point with the stops. There's so much to see on the route, and I didn't even begin to scratch the surface of things you can see along it. But you should definitely stop somewhere when you're driving to Vegas, because it's about the journey and not the destination. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Be kind to one another.